Presented by the all-new 2018 Honda Odyssey. With available Honda Vac, it always bats cleanup.
Welcome to Toronto. It's a beautiful evening here at Rogers Center. The roof is wide open, and we are set for the series finale between the Kansas City Royals and the Toronto Blue Jays. Ned Yost, Kansas City Royals, and a laugher last night. They won 15-5. They got 18 hits in and a big 8-run second inning. That was the entire ball game right there. Let's take a look at their lineup tonight. Top of the order, Whit Merrifield's had a good series. Lorenzo Cain has hit well against the Jays starter Jay Happ tonight. He's 5 for 9 with a double home run and 6 RBIs. And then Jorge Bonifacio, he's the DH again tonight. He has hit well against the Blue Jays this season. He's 5 for 14. 3 doubles, of home runs, and 2 RBIs, and they are set to take on Jay Happ, who's on quite a roll lately.
Yes, he is. Start number 24 on the season for Happ. Seems to be getting stronger as the season is winding down. Jay has given up 3 earned runs or less in his last 4 starts, particularly effective last time out. Pitching into the 7th inning for the first time since August the 2nd, he beat the Twins for his 9th win of the season.
Happ is set. Merrifield cuts on the first pitch and fouls it back, and that's what the Royals did last night to start this game. They were swinging from the moment they stepped in the batter's box.
That was the common theme last night against last night starter Brett Anderson, another left-hander. Swing early in the count.
There's a fastball for strike 2. Merrifield had a big game last night. He was 3 for 4 with a home run. Brett Anderson, just an inning and a third. He was charged with 8 earned runs on 7 hits. Another fastball, and that's what Happ will do. He'll throw you a lot of heaters.
Get used to that. You're right. About 70% of the pitches that he throws to the plate are fastballs. And he wanted to go inside that time against Whit Merrifield and missed it. Left it out over the plate. Merrifield, he doesn't walk a lot either. He is up there swinging.
There's a good breaking ball for the strikeout. Merrifield strikes that. That's the first out of the ball game. Let's check out the defense for the Blue Jays. Oscar Hernandez starts again in left field. Pilar's in center and Bautista's in right. Urania back at shortstop. Barney up the middle, and Luke Maile starting behind the plate.
For the first time since September the 12th, that was 9 days ago, Blue Jays are carrying 4 catchers in the month of September, so it's tough to get some playing time. His last error was July the 3rd. His last start September the 12th, so he gets the call tonight with Jay Happ.
Lorenzo Cain goes after the first pitch. Mentioned this is a free swinging ball club, and that's the way they started out the game last night. They scored a run in the first and then 8 in the second. Good fastball down and away. Best pitch in the game. Cain grounds out to Smoke, 2 away.
I think that's one of the things that has made Jay so effective lately is his fastball command has been better. Down and away, like you said. Gave up 7 hits in his last start. 6 of them were singles. 2 of them infield singles. He also gave up a home run in that start. He was never really in any trouble against the Twins. He gets the Royals for the 6th time in his career. He's just 2-2 in those 6 starts.
This is Melky Cabrera, the right fielder. He takes a pitch. It's inside. A ball and no strikes to Melky Cabrera. 4 for 9 with a double and a homer against Jay Happ, and hits that one right back up the middle. Happ swiped at it with his glove, but it was past him into center field for a 2-out single.
Flashbacks, I'm sure, for Jay on that line drive that he got in Tampa. Watch as he lets go of this one, and it's right by his glove. It missed his wrist, missed his body, and luckily out into the outfield. Those are the kind where you just let them go and you react, and you hope that it finds the glove.
Yeah, he just swiped at it, hopeful of that ball hitting in the middle of his glove.
You have no chance to try and catch it. It's too quick.
This is Eric Hosmer. We talked about Hosmer and Smoke in the open. He takes a strike. Hosmer just 1 for 9 against Jay Happ.
He's got a beautiful opposite field swing. I think that's why the outfield is shading Hosmer against the lefty. Doesn't want to give a lot of movement early. Doesn't want to show that front side leaking out against the lefty. Usually see that with left-handed batters. They stay on just a little bit longer. And he's got that ability to hit the ball the other way, so Pilar is shading him into the gap in left center.
Pop back out of play. It's a ball and 2 strikes on Hosmer. Jay Happ has won his last 3 decisions. He's 6-2 since the start of August. And this is exactly what the Blue Jays thought they had at the start of the season. And Happ was undone by an arm issue, had a tight elbow, missed about a month of the season.
That's what I mean about him getting stronger as the season is winding down. Pitching deeper into the ball game. Pitched into the 7th inning in his last start. His slider has been better. He threw more sliders in that last start, about 5% more sliders in that last start against the Twins than he had all season long. That last pitch to Hosmer was a slider down and away.
Fastball misses away. It's a full count. So Cabrera, he will be off and running from first base. Sal Perez, the catcher, is on deck if Hosmer can reach base. Smoke has dropped behind Cabrera at first. There goes the runner, cut on and pulled to first. Smoke will step on the bag, and that'll end the inning. A 2-out single, nothing more. The Royals leave a base runner. Top of the order when we come back. They'll face Jason Vargas, the lefty for the Royals. John Gibbons' Blue Jays trying to bounce back after that shellacking at the hands of Kansas City last night. They lost 15-5. Take a look at the lineup. Teoscar Hernandez is leading off. Then down in that 4th spot, Jose Bautista against the starter for the Royals, Jason Vargas, is 5 for 18 with 3 home runs. He likes what he has seen from Vargas in the past. And Kevin Pilar has had a good season against Kansas City. He's 7 for 16 for the year with a pair of doubles, a home run, and an RBI.
They will face Jason Vargas tonight. This is Vargas's 30th start of the season. It's the 5th time in his career that he has had at least 30 starts in a season. He's 16-10 with a .419 earned run average. He was an all-star this season. Had a great record in the first half and a .262 earned run average in the first half. He's fallen on harder times in the second half. He's 4-7 with an ERA over 7 since the all-star break. Pitched 7 very effective innings earlier this season versus the Blue Jays, beating them to improve his career record versus Toronto to 3-3. That's in 9 starts versus the Blue Jays.
Teoscar Hernandez takes the first pitch strike. It's a fastball. Hernandez, .265 for the season. He's got a couple of home runs. They both came in the same game. That 2-homer game. There's that curveball. That's his bread and butter pitch. And middle of the season, the league kind of sat on that curveball a little bit too much, and they started hitting it much better. You know, he had to mix it up a little bit more, used a few more fastballs. There's a fastball lined right to the shortstop. Now, Cities Escobar makes the catch. That's the first out. Let's take a look at the Royals. They are always a good defensive ball club. They got a lot of range in the outfield. Up the middle, it's Escobar and Merrifield, but they are anchored in center by big Lorenzo Cain.
They've always had great center fielders in Kansas City. Here's another one, Lorenzo Cain. He's had the most starts in center field in the American League with 143. He's had the most putouts with 480. He's a free agent at the end of the season. I think he's going to be very popular this winter wherever he ends up. He's a heck of a center fielder. He's just a heck of a ball player.
Here's Josh Donaldson. Josh has had his problems with Vargas in the past. Just 3 for 26. In the game last night, Josh was 0 for 3. There's a fastball, and that's been something Vargas has done his last couple of starts. Pat, you mentioned he had a great first half, and then guy starts sitting on that changeup and curveball. He has to have used a few more fastballs lately.
He doesn't throw that hard. He's going to have to hit his spots and get those corner fastballs. But his changeup is very effective. Think the left-handed version of Marco Estrada. That's what you have in Jason Vargas. Doesn't throw that hard, and he's got an outstanding changeup and a very good curveball.
He loses Donaldson, a one-out walk here in the first.
He's given up 25 home runs this season, 17 of them off of his fastball. So he's basically fastball, changeup, curveball. You can see it's split pretty evenly with those 3 pitches, but he's got to get that changeup and curveball over to make that fastball effective.
Here's Justin Smoke. Smoke wasn't so sure about that one. Ben May called it a strike, and just checked with him, says that as far as it goes, down and away. Reaches for that changeup and fouls it off.
He's going to stay out there now to these right-handed batters. He's just going to keep that fastball away. Every now and then he'll show you that fastball in, but his fastball away, changeup away, backdoor curveball. It's going to make those right-handed batters reach for the ball. Outstanding first half. He was an all-star.
Curveball hit in the air to center. Cain took a step back, and he recovers and gets there in time to make the catch. Vargas was an all-star this season, and he had a terrific first half. It wasn't the same in the second half for him.
There it is right there, 12-3 April through June with an outstanding earned run average. Might have wore down as the season went along because July through September is just 4-7, ERA up over 7. He has won his last 2 starts, but was only able to throw 5 innings in each of them.
Jose Bautista got a nice round of applause from the crowd here tonight. Everybody aware that this might be the final home series for Bautista as a Blue Jay. Thank you for everything indeed. 0-1, 2 outs. Now it's 0-2. 2010, 54 home runs. He won a home run title in 2011 as well.
Hey, all I have to see is the team record for most home runs in a season. That was that season you were just talking about, 2010, when Jose knocked 54 out of here. And remember when he first came to the ball club? They weren't really sure what they were getting from Pirates. What are they? Well, he's an all-timer for me.
High fly ball into center field. Cain coming in. He'll get there and make the catch. Bautista's retired. Blue Jays strand a base runner after 1. No score here at Rogers Center.
through the first innings. We get set for the top of the second with Jay Happ on the hill. The last series, the last homestand of the year for the Blue Jays can't help but be a springboard to looking forward to next year. And from that regard, in terms of fans and organization alike, it's been a positive development the last few days for the pitching staff going forward. Marcus Stroman gets his career high 12th win and solidified himself as the lead gun on this staff, if not the ace. And Marco Estrada signs the following day, a good deal for the club considered all-around baseball. And now Jay Happ, who's 3-0 in his last 4 starts with a 2.25 ERA, gets a chance to leave the fans with the lasting impression in his final home start. Both John Gibbons and Pete Walker said he looks like the guy who won 20 games last year. Again, comfort zone is the words that Pete Walker used to describe what Jay Happ has done over the last month or so, guys.
Good job, Brad. That's exactly what Jay Happ looks like now. Like he's comfortable, he's confident, he's throwing a lot of fastballs for strikes, and he's really pounding that outside part of the plate. That has been very effective for him.
You know what I think it is? He's got finish on his pitches again.
There's a curveball hit in the air high. Bautista doesn't see it yet. He's still looking up and makes a recovery. Oh, what a job by Bautista. Twilight, we have seen that all throughout this month of September here at Rogers Center. The outfielder's having a tough time, and Bautista just kept looking up in the same spot where he thought it would come down. They got a little strawberry on it. You can see twilight skies here, very difficult. Not much of a contrast for the outfielders, but Jose stayed with it. Kept looking up in that spot. It says it's got to be up here somewhere, and finally found it.
What a helpless feeling for an outfielder. You know it's up there somewhere, and you're just praying that that thing comes down low enough below the lights that you can see it again. You go to an area where you think it's going to be. Everybody's pointing to it. They're showing him where it is. But until it becomes down below the lights, you're not going to be able to see it. What a recovery for Bautista.
Terrific play. Very easily would have been a double had it hit safely. So Perez is retired for the first out. This is Mike Moustakas, who homered in the 6th inning last night, a franchise record 37th home run. He broke the tie with Steve Balboni, who set that record way back in 1985.
And if you know anything about Steve Balboni, he didn't want to have anything, you know, he wanted to keep the spotlight on the Moose. Royals were talking about having him come in the last homestand of the season and present Moustakas with something. He said, you know what, it's his time. It's nothing about me. Let him enjoy that. It was a long time holding that record.
Absolutely. When you think about how many players have come and gone since Balboni set the record in '85, and it's quite a compliment to Mike Moustakas. It's a big ballpark. And 37 home runs is kind of a low number when you think the Blue Jays' home run record is 54.
He hadn't homered since September the 1st. Reached out and got a breaking ball and was able to pull it to right field for the record.
Full count to Mike Moustakas, the Royals' third baseman. He has never had a hit against Jay Happ. He's 0 for 9. Reaches for that and pokes it foul.
Well, if you missed it last night, this is the home run. It's a backdoor breaking ball from Carlos Ramirez, and he's able to go out there and hook the ball into the bullpen. They got the baseball for him. That's the record setter, and who meets him at the top step but his old buddy Eric Hosmer.
That hits Happ and stays right close to the mound, and he's able to make the play. That bounced him right in the back. He says he's okay. Maley checking on the status, and remember that ball that Melky Cabrera hit was a hot shot right past his glove.
Didn't look like it got any part of the pitching arm or a hand at all, which is very fortunate for the Jays. Jay said he's fine. Might have got him in the back part of his back, or not real sure, but he says he's okay. Then we were talking at the beginning of this inning about finish on his pitches, and it looks like he's got finish, and I think that goes back to the problems that he had early in the year, where then he finally built it back up, built that arm strength up, and when you can finish, you can reach out and finish those pitches. I think that's what gives him that extra pop right towards the plate.
Yeah, when you're not healthy, certainly you cut things off, and that was a problem early in the season. This is Jorge Bonifacio, the DH. Fouls it straight back.
Well, Cabrera missed him with a line drive. But that one off the bat of Moustakas looks like it got him in the back or the bottom.
1-1 pitch in there for strike 2. Melky Cabrera had the cheer out hit against Happ in the first inning. Ground ball right to the second baseman. Barney has it. Bonifacio's retired. Quick inning for Jay Happ. 3 up, 3 down.
And CF Toronto Eaton Center, the official team shops for your Toronto Blue Jays. Save up to $70 by any in-stock adult player jersey and pay the price of a blank jersey. Details can be found in store, available at all Jays shop locations or at jaysshop.ca. 1-877 Jays Shop. Buck.
Thank you very much, Brad. A good crowd on hand. There were over 33,000 here last night, and the fans continue to come out. This is the final homestand of the season, and tomorrow night the New York Yankees will be here for a 3-game weekend series. Kendrys Morales takes the first pitch outside.
Gentry is sitting 249, but you flip him over to that right-handed batter's box. He is hitting .356 versus left-handed pitching this season. That is the third best in the American League.
Morales played 2 seasons in Kansas City before he signed a free agent contract with the Blue Jays. He was there 2015 and 2016. He drove in 199 runs in those 2 seasons. He had 106 RBIs there in 2015, 93 the next season. Ground ball up the middle, and it too far in the shift. Generally, they take that second baseman and plug up that hole against Morales. Not the case this time.
Make your projects go further with 2 times the Aeroplan miles when you shop at Home Hardware and Building Center locations from September 20th to 27th.
That sky is starting to get a little bit darker now. The fly balls and pop-ups be a little bit easier for the defensive players to see. Kevin Pillar, he steps in, takes one inside off the plate. Pillar this season against the Royals 7 for 16 with a couple of doubles and a home run. Ground ball. Escobar flips to Merrifield. Back to first. Another double play. The Kansas City Royals turn a double play, and the Blue Jays have now grounded into 146 double plays this season. These two teams ground into more double plays than anybody in the American League.
Well, you might not find a prettier one turned right there by Kansas City. They've got 73 errors. Only the Cleveland Indians have committed fewer at 72. Escobar, just a flip to Merrifield. Merrifield's got a strong arm for second baseman. Whips that over to Hosmer for an easy 6-4-3 double play. Just another one turned by these middle infielders.
There you see the numbers. They are tied now, 145 apiece. More than the Red Sox, more than the Angels. Darwin Barney batting with nobody on and 2 outs. Barney was 0 for 3 in the game last night. He had a 3 RBI game on Tuesday night, the opener of this series. He had a 2-run home run and an RBI single. That ties his season high in RBIs. He's had 3 RBI games this season. 3-0. Luke Maley is on deck, the catcher, hitting in the 8th spot tonight.
How about that?
A 4-pitch walk.
Single, double play, 4-pitch walk.
Well, it's the inconsistency that has really plagued Vargas in the second half of the season. He has had a terrific first half of the season, but things have kind of gone south for him a bit. He's bounced back a little bit in his last 2 starts. He's won his last 2 starts against Minnesota at home and in Cleveland against the Indians, but he went just 5 innings in each of those 2 wins. This is Luke Maley. Luke hasn't played in about a week, and he's back there catching Jay Happ for the 3rd time this season.
I told him today, I said, you look like a different hitter. He says, I feel stronger. I got my legs underneath me. He didn't want to make an excuse. You could tell he didn't want to make an excuse that the knee was bothering him, but he just couldn't drive the ball. When you don't have your lower half, you can't hit the ball with authority. He seems to be hitting the ball with a little bit more authority now that he's had the operation on his knee.
Yeah, and I was with you when you were talking to him about that, and you're right. He didn't want to say anything about, well, the knee caused me problems. He just said, well, you know, I'm playing a little bit more and swinging the bat a little bit better. But you and I both know if you don't have your foundation from which to hit, you're not going to hit with anything but your hands.
And if you are thinking about it, your lower half, or maybe twisting too much and then aggravating that knee just a little bit more, you're not going to be able to hit the ball with authority. But he says, I feel great right now. I feel like I can use my legs. He says that's why you're starting to see a few more doubles.
The inside fastball misses. The Royals' fortune kind of shadow the way that Jason Vargas' season has gone. Vargas was 13-4 through the end of August with a 3.00 ERA. But since August 1st, he's 3-6 with a 7.48 earned run average, and the Royals have done just about the same kind of tailspin.
Hasn't been able to go deep lately, but he has had effective outings. Haven't been able to give them the deeper outing that they need.
3-2 pitches fouled straight back. Barney will head back to first base. Well, Vargas had Tommy John surgery, and he made just 12 starts in 2015 and 16 combined. This year has been a different story. This is his 30th start of the season.
Just a little hello, I know you're over there. Hosmer is trying to get a good jump off of the first base over there, so he's not very far from the bag.
Another 3-2 pitch to Luke Maley. There goes Barney. Pops straight back over the screen and out of play. If the Royals, if you told them early in the season that Jason Vargas was going to be an all-star and that he would have 16 wins, they'd have signed up for that right off the bat. Coming back from 2 seasons where he was just bouncing back from Tommy John surgery. He's had a terrific season.
5th time that he has made 30 starts, and he's another one of those players who's a free agent at the end of the season. It's the last year of a 4-year contract that he signed with Kansas City. So he's been durable. He has shown that he can give you 30 starts in a season.
If he wins tonight, it would be his 17th win of the season. That would tie Clayton Kershaw and Chris Sale. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
There goes Barney. Strike 3 call. Maley caught looking at strike 3. So the Blue Jays get another walk. Double play. Baseman left on base. No score after 2 innings.
'17 returns with fast-paced pick-up-and-play MLB action packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Get RBI Baseball today for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and mobile devices. Learn more at rbigame.com. Buck.
Thank you very much. As we are winding things down, this 2017 season winding down in a hurry. So it'll be 8-9-1 for Kansas City as they bat in the 3rd against Jay Happ. Both Jay Happ and Jason Vargas off to good starts tonight.
A couple of lefties doing their thing. He's going to be facing Alcides Escobar here to open up the 3rd inning. He is a free swinger too. This should be a good matchup for both teams. Jay Happ throws a lot of fastballs, and the Kansas City Royals, they swing a lot of first pitches. So if he can locate early on, he should be able to jump ahead 0-1.
Escobar fouled that first pitch off the end of the bat. Urania throws him out. 1 away. Beauty Tone, Canada's color experts, available exclusively at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. 1 out, top of the 3rd inning, no score. Alex Gordon will step in. Gordon hit a home run off Ryan Tepera in the 8th inning on Tuesday night. His 8th home run of the season.
Do you know he went about 2 months without a home run this year, from July 4th to September the 8th, span of 54 games, which is hard to believe because this guy's a good player.
He has been a good player for a long time. Broken bat foul past first base. Gordon has to get a new bat. That's not the right one.
He has been around for a long time with this team. This is his 10th year in the big leagues, all with Kansas City, and he's had seasons of 23 home runs, 20, 19, 17. So for him to just have 8 home runs this year, he's had some problems with his wrist. Had some surgery over the last couple of seasons on his wrist. So you wonder if that might be a problem that he's been dealing with.
Fouls that pitch back. Yeah, Gordon, as you mentioned, 11 seasons with Kansas City. Former #1 pick of the Royals. Came up the first time in 2007. Just 23 years old in his rookie year. Takes that one downstairs. We mentioned Jay Happ as one of his last 3 decisions, really trying to finish up on a positive note this season. I think the biggest thing for Jay is to go into the offseason healthy and sound, knowing full well that he can relax, rest up his body, and then get into his offseason program at a normal pace.
And I think he has proven that he's healthy. He's thrown like he did last season. And nobody works harder than this guy. I mean, you see him in between starts, you know, pushing around sleds and working with the kettlebells and working out. I mean, working hard. I mean, that's why he has the stamina to go deeper into the ball games.
So Gordon draws the 1-out walk. That'll turn the lineup over back to Whit Merrifield, who struck out against Happ in the first. Merrifield is 5 for 9 in this series. Good looking player. They found the leadoff hitter. They found an everyday second baseman. He's got speed. He's got power.
He's an everyday player. He's had the longest hit streak in the American League this year. He and Jose Altuve have had 19-game hit streaks.
Bailey snap throw to first as Gordon is back safely. The home run that Merrifield hit here was his 17th of the season as a second baseman, the most by a Royals second baseman since Frank White. White hit 17, 22, 22, and 17 from 84 to 87. It's a fly ball into shallow center. Pilar coming on, and now Barney goes out, and Barney makes the catch in center field.
The diverse Civic family, our most powerful lineup yet. Honda, proud fan since 1977, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Very beautiful shot of Rogers Center with the roof pushed back. It's a comfortable 22 degrees here tonight. We've had a stretch of summer-like weather here in Toronto the last week. 2 outs, Lorenzo Cain. Bounced to the first baseman his first time up. He takes a wild swing. Bailey and Happ have picked up on the fact that the Royals are up there hacking at that first pitch.
So they're starting to throw a few more breaking balls early in the count. Lorenzo Cain was sitting all over a fastball. Didn't get one.
Cain's had a good month of September coming into this game. He's hitting .383 for the month. We've talked about Cain and the rest of the Royal free agents. They're really in the prime of their careers. And Cain, of course, big part of this core of the Royals. Came over in a trade from Milwaukee early in his career. Late on that fastball.
You know, I am all for free agency and players getting what they need. But something has to be done where these teams like the Kansas City Royals, who develop these great players, they have to find a way to keep them there, to be able to pay them. Sal Perez has got a multi-year contract, but they can't keep them all.
Well, the problem that Kansas City has is they have already committed $107 million to rosters without considering their free agents.
That is hard to believe.
You have to be a little bit better at spreading your money out, making sure that you have enough to keep these core players, or you sign them early. There's a line drive to left field, and Hernandez will play it on a hop. They talk about the core of this team. Most of them came up together in 2011, and they enjoyed the 2 trips to the World Series, but they are all going to be free agents. Hosmer, Moustakas, Kane, Escobar, and Vargas. That's tough to lose that many key players.
And you know, they're going to want to cash in because they're free agents. They have spent their time in the big leagues, at least 6 seasons, and they're going to want to cash in. Can Kansas City afford one of them? Can they afford all of them? No. So they're going to be losing those players. And if those players end up signing for more than $50 million, they will get a draft pick back.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a good chance 3 of them are going to sign for more than $50 million. Hosmer, Moustakas, and Kane.
But I see it in Cincinnati with the Reds. They had some great players just a few years ago when they were making the playoffs. Couldn't sign them all.
There's a base hit into center field. Gordon's around third. He's going to score. Kane goes first to third, and Melky Cabrera is 2 for 2, and he drives in the first run of this ball game. Cabrera is now 6 for 11 against Jay Happ.
He's always been a great hitter. Left-handed, right-handed, doesn't matter. He's got that natural short stroke. It looks like a changeup from Happ where he just splits his fingers, and there's that short swing as he stays back on that changeup. It's a line drive type of swing. Not a lot of movement. Rips it into the outfield. Melky had a big game yesterday. Scored a couple of runs, drove in a couple of runs, also had a double. Drives in tonight's first run.
82 RBIs for Melky Cabrera. Eric Hosmer grounded out to first base his first time up. He goes after the first pitch. Well, you better keep it out of the middle on that first pitch because they're hacking.
You know, that's what they do. And they don't strike out a lot. They're not a free swinging bunch of guys. They go up there. They're aggressive. The best pitch you might see might be that first pitch of the at-bat. But they don't strike out a lot.
Hosmer with a big swing. He foul tipped it into the catcher's mitt. Hosmer has been a great clutch hitter, and that's going to be appealing on the free agent market. Plus the fact he won't turn 28 till the offseason.
Yeah, in October, the end of October, he'll turn 28.
There goes the runner to the throw to second. They've got Cabrera in a rundown, and they tag him out before the run scores. No run. The home plate umpire, Ben May, watched the timing of the tag play at first, and they tagged Cabrera out before the base runner touched home plate. Ben May immediately waved off that run. The third out of the inning, looks like Kansas City might appeal the call.
Yeah, they're not going to appeal this because he was out. Kane was getting a huge lead at third base. You got to make the out before the runner tags on the base, touches home plate, and he did not. Cabrera got caught. Great job by the Blue Jays cutting down that distance against Cabrera.
Kansas City is going to go out and talk things over with Ben May. And Ned Yost is talking to the home plate umpire. Now he's looking back to the dugout and said, okay, we are not going to challenge that call on the field. So the inning is over. Melky Cabrera tagged out before Kane scores. 1-0 Kansas City. with 2 outs, but the Blue Jays defense was on their toes.
Richard Urania is going to take this ball. Watch how quickly he checks the runner, but he closes the distance between Justin Smoke and himself, so Melky Cabrera has nowhere to go. You want to run that runner back as quickly as possible back to the base before the runner from third base touches home. Smoke can just catch it and tag him, and they save a run.
Home plate umpire Ben May did a good job of getting a good angle on watching the play at the plate and having the tag play in the background at first. And you can see it was by a wide margin that Kane hadn't reached home. So here is Urania. Urania, the shortstop, batting in the 9th spot. Hooks it right to third. Moustakas has it. 1 away.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV.
So Jason Vargas has an out in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Kansas City has a 1-0 lead. In case you're wondering about the Cleveland Indians, they played this afternoon out in Anaheim, and they won again. And they had some home runs. Francisco Lindor hit his 32nd home run, and Edwin Encarnacion his 37th home run. And they beat Parker Bridwell, who was pitching pretty well lately. They beat everybody, though.
Is anybody going to slow them down?
I don't think so.
They're like a giant snowball that's rolling downhill right now, gaining momentum. They're playing some great baseball.
Cleveland has now won 14 straight road games. Their road record of 51-27 this season is the best in the majors as Hernandez strikes out quickly.
Yeah, nobody else has 50 wins on the road. No one.
Give you an idea how significant that is. By comparison's sake, the Cleveland Browns have lost 14 straight road games in their football seasons. I say seasons going back. They haven't won a football game on the road since October 2015.
Yikes.
And the Indians have won 14 in a row on the road. Josh Donaldson goes after the first pitch.
Their great winning streak started on the road, didn't it? They went 11-0 on the road.
Donaldson drew a walk his first time up. Pitches inside off the plate.
They also have 22 wins against the West, the Indians. 22 wins.
They just played it everywhere. They played so well. The Indians have now won 11 straight games against the Angels going back to June of 2016. Now that seems like a good idea. Let's paint ourselves blue and go to the ball game. Oh, it got cold last week and all these guys turned blue.
That might be a good idea now. About 11 or 11:30 tonight, I'm not so sure.
2-2 pitch to Donaldson upstairs. It's a full count. If Donaldson can reach, Smoke will come to the plate. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fouled straight back.
He has not given in to Josh Donaldson. It's almost like he doesn't want to throw a fastball to him. Probably because he has seen what he has done over his last 8 games. He's hit 5 home runs.
Curveball on the outside corner for strike 3. Donaldson strikes out. Vargas has 3 strikeouts in the game. He makes quick work of the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 3rd. Vargas has the confidence to throw that hook with 2 strikes. He gets Donaldson looking.
tickets are now on sale. Purchase season tickets and automatically become enrolled in My Blue Jays. You can learn more at bluejays.com. And Buck and Pat, over the 3 million mark last night went the Toronto Blue Jays attendance, the first American League team to reach that mark this season.
Yeah, the fans deserve a lot of credit because they have been terrific in their support of this ball club. 3 million. Last night, they surpassed that 3 million mark. They're ahead of the Yankees, the Angels, and the Red Sox. And congratulations to you fans for another great season.
You're averaging over 39,000 here at home, so it's a good young team. It's a fun team to come out and watch. It's a team in an atmosphere that's a lot of fun to be around.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere they have created, of course, and there's the carryover from the last 2 years. There's no question about that. But the fans have been loyal in their support. It's been a good place to hang out. Eric Hosmer leads things off for Kansas City here in the fourth. The Royals have a 1-0 lead. Melky Cabrera with an RBI single in the third has driven home the only run of the game. And wouldn't you know it, it was a 1-out walk to Alex Gordon, who came around to score that only run.
The number 9 hitter after he got a quick out. There's that slider. He's been using that a little bit more lately. Fastball, slider, changeup. Basically what you're going to get from Happ. Curveball every now and then with a little bit more break. But once you know you're going to get a lot of fastballs from Happ, that slider becomes pretty effective.
There's that fastball down and away. Hosmer had to reach for it, and Donaldson throws high to first. For Donaldson, that'll be his 14th error of the season. Smoke tried to tag Hosmer, but he was already past Hosmer by the time Smoke came down with it.
You know, we talked about Hosmer and Smoke at the beginning of the telecast tonight. And one thing we didn't talk about is how fast Hosmer is. For a big guy, a first baseman, that's a 2-hopper to the third baseman, and he makes it close, and he's safe at first base on the wide throw.
Well, and one thing we have seen consistently throughout his career with Hosmer is he gives you everything he's got every day, no matter what the situation is. Here we are playing in the final weeks of the season. He hits the ground ball to third, and he beats it out at first and forced Donaldson into that error. Sal Perez fouls it off. You know, we were talking about free agents and how you keep your team together. Well, Perez was signed to a very team-friendly contract early on. I believe he signed it in his second season, and it was for peanuts compared to today's salaries. And the Royals, to their credit, ripped it up and signed him to an extension. Consummate to his skills, and he is well paid now, as he should be. He's a terrific player, one of the best catchers in all the game.
Is it enough, though, to build a team around him? Or if they lose all of these free agents, Sal Perez have to leave too, to start building it once again, which is hard. That's hard to swallow.
Well, the problem, and we mentioned they were committed to over $107 million for next year. There's a good fastball. Perez is signed, and he re-signed a contract, 5 years, $52.5 million for this season through the 21 season. He's signed for the long haul at good money. Kelvin Herrera, he is signed through 2021 at $15.5 million. Ground ball up the middle. That'll sneak through for a base hit. Hosmer stops at second. Perez kind of got jammed on it, but he's so strong he was able to guide it up the middle for a base hit.
You know what he did? He was able to get those hands in very quickly and still get the barrel of the bat. That means a lot of wood on it. Watch how he comes in and gets the barrel of the bat on the ball and still drive it back through the middle for the base hit. He was robbed last time of a play by Bautista. This time no step, and how the hands came in, and that gets that barrel to the baseball very quickly.
Yeah, he's a strong fella.
You go around that ball right there, that's a broken back grounder to third base.
Not hit very hard. So first and second, nobody out. Mike Moustakas. He hits this ball on the ground. Barney goes to second for one. Back to first. Double play. So Kansas City bounces into a double play.
Well, we showed you these are the two teams in the American League that bounce into the most double plays.
And Moustakas is not running well. He's got that balky knee that has been bothering him most of this month.
So this is an easy double play for the Blue Jays. Their 136th turn this season.
Urania and Barney teaming up to turn two. Hosmer now at third base for Jorge Bonifacio. I want to correct myself. I'd mentioned Herrera was signed for the long term. That's not true. He's arbitration eligible after this year. Danny Duffy is signed through 2020-21. So he is signed for the long haul. But they have made a big commitment to a number of players.
And that's the thing. Now they got a next wave of players who are eligible for free agency. And if you want to make the commitment, it's going to cost you.
0-1 to Bonifacio. Now it's 0-2.
That's why I think it's so important to every year have somebody ready to come out of your farm system to take the place of an established star, or you can trade off that star before he hits free agency. Just have the replacements on the way.
Inside. It's not unlike what happened to the Philadelphia Phillies when they went to the World Series, won in 2008, and they had a core of players that all grew up together, and then they happened to get them a little bit too old, and then they had to sell them off, and they had some big contracts. Ryan Howard, Cole Hamels they had to trade away. Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins. They had a core of players that were very good, but they didn't have that second and third and fourth layer coming up underneath them to protect them.
They had to make a decision. Do we sign the guys now, or do we let them go as free agents? But they didn't have the replacements, and they wanted to keep that team together. They just kept them together a little bit too long.
Bonifacio chases that fastball up and away for the strikeout. That's the second strikeout of the ball game for Jay Happ. Kansas City leaves a runner at third. It'll be Smoke, Bautista, and Morales against Vargas when we come back. Great season Justin Smoke has had. He made his first all-star team, but when you look at the history of these switch hitters in the Blue Jays franchise over the years, Justin Smoke has the best OPS by a switch hitter in franchise history.
What a season he is putting together. That's the highest by a switch hitter. He's also close to a couple of other records. Extra base hits by a switch hitter in Blue Jay history, 76 by Jose Cruz Jr. Justin's got 66 extra base hits this year. The record for most doubles by a switch hitter in Blue Jay history, 42 by Devon White. Smokey's only got 27. And RBIs by a switch hitter is held by Robbie Alomar with 93 RBIs. Set that in 93. Smokey's got 89.
That is well within reach for sure. There's Robbie. He was a terrific player and, of course, the Hall of Famer. He's done a terrific job continuing to support baseball in Canada. Just finished up tournament 12.
Robbie also has the record for most walks by a switch hitter in Blue Jay history in a season. 87. Robbie had 87 RBIs in 1992. Smokey's got 68. That one seems to be safe. I don't think he's going to walk 20 times in the last 10 games.
Smoke's previous OPS high was in 2015. He had a 768 OPS. This season at 906. 2-1. Off the plate, laid off that changeup. 3-1 now. The leadoff man here in the fourth. The Blue Jays are down 1-0. Jason Vargas has allowed just one hit. That was a leadoff single to Kendrys Morales. Smoke takes ball 4. Third walk issued by Vargas. That's the way the bottom of the fourth begins for the Jays.
Walk number 69 on the season for Smoke. He's under 20 now.
They mentioned Bautista against Vargas coming into this game 5 for 18 with 3 home runs. And Joey Bats will never die, certainly in the eyes of these Blue Jay fans. He has been a terrific player for 10 seasons here with the Jays. When he first came to Toronto, Blue Jays really didn't know what they had. He played a little bit of third base, a little bit of center field, a little bit of right field, and they just moved him around. Then things took off for him once he got settled in.
I remember when they played an exhibition game right at the end of spring training early in his career. I believe it was 2009. Might have even been 2010. Anyway, he was hitting leadoff for the Blue Jays. Leadoff, they weren't really sure what they had, but he had great at-bats, and he was driving the ball out of the ballpark. They finally had to move him down in the lineup.
Fly ball to center. Kane is there. Bautista flies out to center. One away. Yeah, he came over midseason in 2008 from the Pirates. Played in 21 games that year. And his first full season was 2009. Of course, his breakout season was 2010. He was an all-star, finished 4th in the MVP voting. He was a Silver Slugger. One of 3 Silver Slugger awards he won as a Blue Jay. 6-time all-star and a 2-time home run champion.
Helped put the Blue Jays back on the map again. Made them relative.
Vargas delivers a first pitch strike to Kendrys Morales. Off the plate inside. Fastball got inside on his hands.
He last time up singled on a ground ball between the shortstop and the second baseman. Shortstop Escobar was shifted over. Merrifield, the second baseman, is on the right side of the infield. It was a changeup down and away, and he was able to pull it right where the shortstop normally stands, but because he was pulled over, it was a base hit. Looks like they're staying inside just a little bit more this at bat instead of pitching them away.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Morales.
Pitch into the shift. That's what you want to do.
There's a changeup, and Morales strikes out. 4 strikeouts for Vargas.
Available Honda sensing in the all-new 2017 CR-V, designed to help keep you safe wherever you play. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Kevin Pillar batting with Smoke at first and 2 outs. Pillar grounded into a 6-4-3 double play back in the 2nd inning. Good changeup.
It's 3 changeups in a row that Vargas has thrown. He got Morales to strike out. Now he's 0-2. That's his best pitch. Hitters are only hitting a 189 against that changeup this season. Looks like they might want to bust him inside now.
And they did. Pilar is called out on strikes. Fastball catches the inside corner. Back-to-back strikeouts for Vargas. We'll go to the 5th. 1-0 Kansas City. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio. Fastball down and in. Pilar thought it was off the plate. And then he wasn't too pleased with the call. Might have been low as well. And Pilar is called out, and he's disappointed by the strike called by the home plate umpire.
And that got his attention.
Yeah, Ben May pointed to the helmet, and generally that means that he's going to file a report, and Pilar will be fined for throwing his helmet. He didn't throw him out of the game. So the Blue Jays get a walk to start the inning, can't move him off first base, and they have been shut out through 4 innings on just 1 hit. Jay Happ has allowed just 4 hits, but he trails 1-0. It'll be 8-9-1 for Kansas City. Escobar, Gordon, and the leadoff man, Whit Merrifield. Escobar grounded out the shortstop, his only time up. 1-2.
Now Escobar's talking about that pitch, thinking it might be inside or low. Looked like the same pitch. That was called a strike on Pilar.
He strikes out. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update for us. As Minnesota had lost 3 in a row to the Yankees, and now they are in Detroit. They have that lead against the Tigers. The Angels have fallen upon hard times, but as you mentioned earlier, they're playing the Indians.
Yeah. Minnesota was playing New York and lost 3 there, and the Indians went out to LA and just took it to them.
Boy, Cleveland, they've had a historic run for sure. To give you an idea how good Cleveland has been, on the morning of August 26th, the Dodgers had a record of 91-36, 20 games ahead of the Indians, who were 71-56 at that time. And now the Indians have won 27 of their last 28 games. And now they're within striking distance for the best record in baseball.
27 out of 28.
Gordon strikes out for the second out. 3 strikeouts in a row for Happ.
Other teams that have won 26 out of 27 in Major League history? How about 1884 Providence Grays? They went 28 out of 29.
I remember many of those players.
I don't remember them. The Cubs and the Giants in 06 and 16 won 27 out of 28. That's the last time it happened. The Indians just did it.
Well, not only are the Indians hot, but the Dodgers are ice cold. They've lost 20 of their last 25 games. No team that has ever lost 20 of 25 games at any point in the season has ever won a World Series. And midway through the season, even into August and late August, everybody was ready to anoint the Dodgers the World Series champions.
That's right. They won today in Philly. They lost the first 3 games to the Phillies before winning today.
Happ pounds that inside strike to Merrifield. It's 1-2.
Dodgers can clinch the West on Friday with a win at home against your Giants.
Merrifield swings and misses. J. Happ strikes out the side in the top of the 5th. 4 strikeouts in a row for Happ. 5 in the ball game.
Center in the TD Comfort Zone, our guests from one of TD's community partners. And don't forget, after doing it early this morning, they'll do it again. The 2017 NHL China Games live from Beijing. The Canucks take on their Pacific Division rival, the Los Angeles Kings, Saturday on Sportsnet. Ooh, decision time. Do you stay up late or do you go to bed early and set your alarm? 3:30 a.m. Eastern times when it gets started on Sportsnet.
Should be an interesting hockey game. The NHL in China. Got a heck of a ball game going on here. 1 run in the game, a total of 5 hits. The Blue Jays have just 1 hit against Jason Vargas. Vargas has had a tale of 2 seasons all within this 1 season. There's a curveball for strike 1. In his first 16 starts, Vargas went 12-3. Coming into this game, in his last 13 starts, he was 4-7. Barney drew a walk his first time up. Pops this one in the air into shallow right. Melky Cabrera misses. Absolutely whiffed on it. He got a piece of it and may have hit him in the thumb. Now he's taking his glove off. He had a long run and Merrifield went out. He wasn't going to get it, but Barney is safe on the pop-up. They ruled it a base hit for Barney.
He's shaking his hand like he didn't even get glove on it. Let's see again. He's got a long way to come.
Might have hit him on the wrist.
Yeah.
Not sure what happened there, but he just misses it. This will give you a better idea. Where does that ball hit him? On the thumb.
It is the thumb.
Yeah.
Pulls the glove off and starts shaking. It had a long way to come. See if Blue Jays can take advantage of that. That should have been an out.
He's still having trouble with that right thumb. Luke Maile takes ball 1. Maile caught looking at strike 3 his first time up. Ground ball. Moustakas throws a bouncing ball. He never got a grip on that ball. Barney is called out. Joe West, the second base umpire, calls him out. Moustakas, that ball looked like it stuck in his hand. He threw it right in the dirt. Looked like it was going to be a routine double play.
Yeah, and the Blue Jays want to take a look at this one to see if Barney was safe at second base. Looked like it was going to be a double play. Any ball that takes that third baseman to the bag should go around the horn. But what a play by Merrifield, the second baseman. Spikes it into the ground and he picks it to get the out at second base.
Let's see what happens on this throw. Moustakas just threw it into the dirt, and you're right, Merrifield made a heck of a play. That replay indicates he was indeed out.
Wow, that play by Merrifield, he acts like a first baseman, and he got to catch that in-between hop. Not sure where that ball was going to bounce, and he picked it clean. It'll go as a fielder's choice. Spikes it right into the ground. Look how he's got to change directions. He was anticipating that ball thrown into his chest.
Urania takes a strike right at the knees. Richard grounded out to Moustakas in the third inning. Off the plate inside, a ball and a strike.
I think they wanted that ball off the plate. They might be setting up this next pitch. Did you take a look at Salvador Perez tell the pitcher before he delivered it to throw the ball off the plate? It kind of motioned like get it off the plate. Maybe they're going to go down and away now.
Up and away. I don't think that's where he wanted that changeup either.
But it was almost like he was setting it up for that pitch by saying, hey, give me a fastball. Let's just show him the fastball off the plate and then get it down and away. But he missed on that 1-1 pitch.
Another changeup. Foul ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Blue Jays shortstop, Richard Urania. Richard's making his 13th start at shortstop. He's made 1 start at second since coming up from Double-A.
His first game was at second base. Teams have been throwing him a lot of off-speed pitches with 2 strikes lately.
There's another off-speed pitch. It was the curveball. He got a piece of it to stay alive. Urania had a double into the power alley in left center in last night's game. His only at bat, as he came in as a defensive replacement late in that game.
Another changeup. Stay on it if it's down and away.
Up. Escobar goes to second. They get the force at second. That changeup hit off the end of the bat. 2 away.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by Samsung QLED TV. Experience Canada's team in all the colors of the game with the next innovation in TV.
Beautiful evening in Toronto as the roof is wide open. It couldn't be a better evening as far as the weather goes. 22 degrees, very comfortable here in Toronto. Back to the top of the order, the left fielder, Teoscar Hernandez has gone over 2 with a strikeout. What's your impression of Hernandez been so far as we watched him play in this month of September?
I think he's feeling himself in the big leagues with the new team, and he's trying to make some adjustments as he's going along. He was telling me today that he feels like he was leaning out over the plate a little bit too much when he's getting ready to swing. So when he starts to swing, he has to stand up and swing, and so his swing has gotten longer. Yesterday, he had a very good at-bat where he doubled it to left center field. Smooth. It just freed him up. So he's trying to stand up a little bit taller at the plate. Says he can see the ball just a little bit better. He lined out his first time up tonight.
That double last night went into the power alley, drove in 2
to left center field. It's all about adjustments, and it's all about learning yourself and what works for you here. He's straightening out his feet, as you can tell right there. It's a little bit more straight towards the pitcher instead of closed off when we first saw him when he came up here. But you're constantly making adjustments. Big gap between AAA and the big leagues.
I don't think it's ever been wider. I think most of the talented players are in the big leagues, and then they just have a lot of journeymen playing in AAA.
So what works in AAA might not necessarily work here in the big leagues, so you got to keep working at it.
There's a changeup as Hernandez was out in front. It's 0-2. I think if you talk to a lot of people, they would say that most of the real prospect talent is in AA and below. And most of the AAA teams like those winning records, and they'll put more veteran players down there, 4A players, if you will.
Sprinkle in some prospects.
I know the goal for the Blue Jays next year in AAA Buffalo is to have a young team. They want a very young team full of prospects and optionable players in AAA Buffalo, where they can have some backups, have some insurance of prospective players, not so much of those suspects, but more prospects. That's strike 3 call. That's been a consistent call by Ben May, the home plate umpire. He rings up Hernandez, who has struck out twice tonight. The Blue Jays get a leadoff single again. Can't do anything with it. Presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Quite a pitcher's duel going on here at Rogers Center tonight. We move to the 6th inning. It's a 1-0 game. Hitters haven't had much to cheer about. They've managed just 6 hits in the game. Both Jay Happ and Jason Vargas are on their game early tonight.
Last night, 20 runs, 24 hits. Tonight, different story.
Jay Happ with 5 strikeouts, including the last 4 to face him. Lorenzo Cain leads things off for Kansas City. Takes first pitch. That's unusual tonight by the Royals. It's a strike. They mentioned Luke Maile catching Jay Happ just for the 3rd time this season. He's done a nice job overall for the season, despite the fact he's missed some time with that knee surgery.
I think he calls a good game. I think he receives the ball very nicely. He can throw. We've seen him throw out base runners. Thrown out 32% of the base runners trying to steal against him this year. He's quick.
Maile caught Happ in June out in Seattle. Little swing and a base hit for Cain. That pitch down and away, and that hitters will say, I hit it like you threw it. Little changeup down and away. He stayed on it and singles into right.
That's a good piece of hitting right there from Lorenzo Cain. Down and away. Don't try and do too much. Just poke it the other way. The super slow-mo replay is powered by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV.
So Cain is 2 for 3 tonight. He's now 7 for 12 against Jay Happ. And here is Melky Cabrera. He's driven in the only run of the game. An RBI single in the 3rd. We mentioned Maile. This is the 3rd time he's caught Happ. He also caught him on the 10th of September in an 8-2 win right here against the Tigers. Luke missed some time, of course, after having that knee injury addressed. There's another base hit for Melky Cabrera. He got jammed and singles into right. Back-to-back singles for Kansas City here in the 6th.
That's 3 hits tonight for Melky Cabrera against Jay Happ. Takes that pitch and just shoots it the other way. It looked like he got beat, like he was waiting a little bit longer to stay on it, just a little bit longer, and it worked out for him.
Cabrera with those 3 hits. He, like Cain, is now 7 for 12 against Jay Happ. Quick meeting on the mound. Eric Hosmer, as Tom Kohler, the right-hander, starting to loosen up for the Blue Jays. So Hosmer at the plate with 2 aboard and nobody out. Hosmer reached on the Donaldson air back in the 4th on a ground ball. Donaldson threw high to first and Hosmer was safe. Happ mixing things up on the first pitch. Starts Hosmer with a slider.
He's got great plate coverage. He's got those long arms where Hosmer can stay off the plate if he wants to, and if he throws the slider down or away with those long arms and long bat, he can still reach that ball, poke it the other way.
Ground ball. Barney will go to second. They get the lead runner. Return throw not in time. Hosmer's safe. Cain goes to 3rd on the out. But Barney, by getting the force out at second, keeps the double play in order.
2 innings ago, the Royals got the first 2 runners on base, 1st and 2nd. They got the double play and then the strikeout. Looked like he had a shot right here. Good feed from Barney, but again, Hosmer runs too well. He got on in that 4th inning on the error by Donaldson. It was a 2-hopper to the 3rd baseman. He beat it out. He can run.
Well, Happ has a double play candidate at the plate in the catcher, Sal Perez. And bust him inside with that fastball. Like Perez may have tweaked his hands or something.
Remember the intercostal?
He had the rib problem, sure.
Yeah, and when he makes contact, he doesn't feel it. It's when he fouls balls off or swings and misses is where he really feels it. That was a ball in that he fouled off. on his left side.
You can see he felt it again. You're right.
He grimaces just a little bit. He singled last time up on a pitch where he barely even he didn't stride at all, just used his hands. The high fastball, watch the reaction at the end of the swing. He can feel something.
Ground ball. This should be 2. Urania to Barney, back to first. It is a double play. That's what Hack was looking for. Again, just like back in the 4th, the first 2 reach, Hack gets a double play to get out of it. Donaldson smoking Bautista against Vargas when we come back. Defense. Sometimes it's on the field, and other times it's in the seats. Tonight, the fans have been hot with their defensive plays.
Take a look at these fans. One hand grab right there. He's got a souvenir. Yes, sir. And everybody around him pretty excited. Hey, not to be outdone. One more time, the fan with one hand grabs it. I'm sure they're goalies on their intramural hockey teams because they displayed some great hand-eye coordination there.
That's a terrific night at the ballpark. Watch a good ball game and get a souvenir baseball. All on the same night. And those folks are in the front row, getting a bird's eye view. And they'll see Donaldson smoking Bautista for the Blue Jays here in this one-run game. The Blue Jays are down by a run. The Royals scored their only run in the 3rd. Donaldson has walked and struck out.
Another changeup. Remember, we told you earlier that Vargas, he has won his last 2 starts, but he's only thrown 5 innings in each one of those. Here we are in the 6th inning, and they've got a couple of pitchers up in the bullpen.
Curveball hit to Moustakas. Donaldson is out. 1 away. Now the bullpen is working. Ryan Buchter, the left-hander, and Peter Moylan, the right-hander. Buchter came over from the San Diego Padres, part of a 3-pitcher deal the Royals pulled off right at the end of July. Dave Allen, the pitching coach, on the horn down to the bullpen. Donaldson grounds out first out here in the 6th. You wouldn't think that the Royals will push Vargas much past this inning. Justin Smoke, the first baseman, has flied out to center and walked. Vargas coming into this game with a 16-10 record. His ERA .419. This is his 30th start of the season. If he wins this game tonight, he'll tie Clayton Kershaw and Chris Sale with 17 wins. No matter what you say about his ERA or his second half, 17 wins. Not a manager in baseball wouldn't take a starter with 17 wins on their staff.
That's a number one, isn't it? When you've got a starter with 17 wins and an all-star.
Vargas wanted that pitch and looked like he might have been right. Two and two to Justin Smoke. Papa Hosmer calls for it, drifts into foul territory, makes the catch. Two-away. Let's check in quickly with Jamie Campbell. Well, that's a big showdown for the Brewers. They have the Cubs in Miller Park for a 4-game series, and if they're going to close ground on the Cubs, they got to make a move now. Now Schwarber's starting to pick it up a little bit, still hitting around 200 for the season.
Maybe the Cubs are starting to make a move. They have been hot lately.
Zach Davies, the starter, 17-9 for the Brewers against Jake Arrieta, who's making his first start since September 4th. Arrieta had that hamstring problem. Milwaukee swept the Cubs at Wrigley Field in a 3-game series and held the Cubs to just 3 runs in 3 games. Jose Bautista behind 0-2. Jose has 3 career home runs against Vargas. Tonight he has fired out twice to center. Another changeup and a strikeout, and that's a record-setting strikeout for Bautista. That's a franchise high in strikeouts in a season. He was tied with Jose Canseco and Kelly Johnson. For Jose Bautista, after so many wonderful seasons with the Blue Jays, that last strikeout that ended the 6th inning, his 160th strikeout of the season. That's a new strikeout record in franchise history. Canseco and Kelly Johnson were both tied at 159. Michael Saunders had 157 strikeouts last season. 1-0 ball game. Blue Jays have just 2 hits against Jason Vargas. Jay Happ has done a terrific job of holding the Royals to just a run on 6 hits.
He's pitched around some traffic on the bases tonight. They had a runner on base in the 1st inning. A couple of runners on base in the 3rd inning when they scored their run. 2 more on in the 4th, 2 more on in the 6th. But he has only given up 1 run tonight.
And Dominic Leone is loosening up for the Blue Jays. The Royals are 1 for 5 tonight with runners in scoring position. Happ's gotten a couple of double plays to get him out of tough jams. And that slider hits him ahead of Moustakas 1-2. That's a fly ball down the left side, and it is slicing foul right down that left field corner.
Make your projects go further with 2 times the Aeroplan miles when you shop at Home Hardware and Building Center locations from September 20th to 27th.
One and two to Moustakas. Mike Moustakas leading off the 7th for Kansas City. Hits a ball in the alley, and that's going to get down. A base hit for Moustakas. He is not going to chance it as he stops at first. A long single to the power alley in left center.
They wanted that fastball up and away, and it got too much of the plate, and it didn't get up high enough. Moustakas, who's done that better in his career against left-handers, goes the other way to pick up his first hit of the night. You can see that ball's not away enough, and he will lead off the 7th with the hit. So one night after setting the record, he picks up his first hit.
1 for 3 tonight. He grounded into a double play in the 4th. This is Jorge Bonifacio, the DH. Goes after the first pitch. Bonifacio's older brother, Emilio, played for the Blue Jays. 2013, he got into 94 games with the Blue Jays.
He was part of
218.
He was part of that big trade with the Florida Marlins. Josh Johnson, Mark Burley. Emilio came over here in that trade.
John Buck, Mark Burley, Josh Johnson, Jose Reyes, and Emilio Bonifacio. A boatload of players going in both directions. Bottom of strike to Bonifacio. Fouled off.
He's a different type of player than his brother. I remember his brother telling me when he was here, Emilio, saying, yeah, I've got a brother in the Kansas City organization. He's totally different than me. I'm a switch hitter. I'm more of a slasher, and I'm a fast guy. My brother is big, strong, right hand. He's more of a power hitter. And here he is in the big leagues. He really lit him up early in the season. It was really at the top of the lineup. He and Whit Merrifield really did a good number for him early in the season.
Tried to check his swing, and he went around and strikes out. Another strikeout for a Happ. That's 6 in the ball game. Happ checking on who has coverage at second on a comebacker.
Still plenty of life in that fastball.
Happ's season high in strikeouts was 10 back in Chicago against the White Sox on August the 2nd. He struck out 10 White Sox over 7 innings of work.
He's only been able to throw 7 innings twice this season. One of those was that game you were just talking about where he had 10 strikeouts. The other one was his first start of the season. That was against Baltimore.
In that Baltimore start on April 5th, he had 9 strikeouts and no walks. Only the 3rd time in his career he had that many strikeouts with no walks. He had made just 3 starts at the beginning of the year and then had to give in to that elbow problem. He missed about 6 weeks of the season, and that's why when they brought him back, of course, they were very aware of the pitch count. He didn't pitch too deep, pitch too many games.
Well, remember when he came back, he still had 2 more outings in his rehab to go, but they needed a starter, and he came back and he said, okay, I'll do it. And he only lasted, I think, 4 innings in that first start. So he basically, his first 2 starts back to the big leagues were more rehab starts as he built up his arm strength.
That first start coming back was on the 30th of May, and he threw just 81 pitches over 4 innings. 2 balls and a strike to the shortstop Escobar inside. Now it's 3-1. Kansas City's bounced into 2 double plays so far tonight. John Gibbons would love to see a third right here in the 7th. Ground ball, fair ball. Donaldson goes to second for one. Back to first, not in time. Donaldson had to give ground, and that ball was hit deep at third. Not much of a chance to turn 2 on that play.
Good strong throw from Donaldson to Barney, but Escobar runs too well. There's the ground that he's given. A strike to second base. But too much speed from Escobar as he beats it out. Keeps the inning alive.
Alex Gordon, a number 9 hitter. A strikeout and a walk so far tonight. Gordon has scored the only run of this game. He drew a 1-out walk in the 3rd and came around to score on the RBI single by Cabrera. Check swing foul.
Still.
Happen, Maley have been on the same page all night long. They've done a nice job in this ball game. Spreading out the 7 hits.
That fastball really tied up Alex Gordon. Okay, 0-2. Go right after him. Set him up. Looks like they're going to go right after him.
Breaking ball into dirt. It's now a ball and 2 strikes. Happ over 100 pitches now. That last pitch 104 for Happ. Two balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning. Kansas City scored 15 runs on 18 hits last night. Tonight it's a 1-0 game in the 7th.
Like to get him right here. 2-2. Don't want to run it to 3-2.
Checked his swing. Now it's a full count.
And now with it 3-2, 2 outs, the runner will be going at first base. Justin Smoke is letting Jay Happ know that he's going to play right behind him.
Escobar with a walking lead off first. Smoke backs up behind it. Here's the pitch. It's fouled into the seats. Jay Happ, a 9-10 record for the season. Ball 4 outside. Now John Gibbons has popped out of the dugout. He's already made the call to the bullpen. Happ's second walk of the ball game comes with 2 outs here in the 7th.
Second time he's walked Alex Gordon. The other time he came around to score. Good job by Jay. Just couldn't get that last out to get that 7th inning, but he will walk off the mound. Dominic Leone in to close this one out.
Whit Merrifield will be the starter. Another good outing for Jay Happ as he gets a nice round of applause here from the home crowd. Kansas City still leads it. But he leaves this ball game trailing 1-0. Happ with 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, and the second walk issued to Alex Gordon. That's the last batter he faced, and now Dominic Leone takes over.
Dominic last worked 6 days ago in Minnesota. On the 15th, he picked up Jay Happ. Jay pitched 6 1/3 innings. Dominic pitched 2/3 of an inning that day to finish off that inning. And he's trying to do the same thing here. A couple of runners on base and a couple of outs, trying to save those runners for Jay Happ.
Whit Merrifield is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. First pitch slider. Leone has been terrific. Dominic has set career highs in just about every category. He is 3-0 with a .253 earned run average. This is his 63rd game of the season. That's the most he's ever pitched. He's also thrown the most innings he's ever pitched and recorded the most strikeouts.
And he says he still feels really strong, even after all those innings, all those outings, all those strikeouts. He says, I still feel really strong, and I think that's a tribute to the work that he does when he's not pitching. The weight training and the throwing programs that he's on. That's a good fastball.
Perfect pitch, down and away for strike 2 at 94. Merrifield's been a clutch hitter for the Royals. .330 with runners in scoring position. He's got a runner in scoring position now. Escobar's at second. Gordon's at first. An 0-2 pitch to Merrifield. Breaking ball, he lays off.
Dominic talks about his timing as a pitcher throwing the baseball, and he feels like his timing is really good right now. That when he takes the ball out of the glove and when that front foot is ready to hit the ground, says, I've got my arm out and I'm ready to go. All of his momentum is going towards the plate, and I think that's how he's able to throw that good slider and good fastball.
Slider bounced up the middle. Urania steps on the bag. Leone gets out of it. He saves a couple of runs for Jay Happ. Good job by Dominic Leone. Still a 1-0 game. Morales, Pilar, and Barney to bat when we come back.
See Kevin Pillar in this half inning at the plate, and the power surge this year is something not lost on a lot of people around the organization. 16 home runs. I asked him what's up. He said, I finally understand how my swing works. I'm picking and choosing my spots to drive the ball. It's what I want to do. But when there's tougher matchups on the mound or I'm not feeling it, try to put together a good at bat and use the entire field. I also asked him about the disappointment overall of this season after what unfolded the last two, and he said, well, listen, everybody wants to win, but maybe that back-to-back deep run caught up to us a little bit, and the extra time off will give the guys a chance to decompress and get back to where we want next year. He said it could be ultimately a blessing in disguise, even if it's not what he wished for. And final note, guys, nobody's happier with the signing of Marco Estrada. Says maybe his best friend on the team and his entire family was thrilled with the news that he'll be back another year.
Yeah, I think everybody's pleased about that. Marco Estrada, a real character guy on this ball club, and you know what, he committed to it. He said, you know, I always wanted to stay here. He is signed for one more year, and it's a pretty positive feeling from most everybody. Vargas makes a nice play on a little tapper back to the mound. Morales is retired. One down in the bottom of the seventh.
Remember the first time he was up, he threw him a changeup and he singled up the middle. Threw him a changeup there, and they had the 3 infielders on the left side of the infield this time, but they don't need him because Vargas makes a great play. Snags it and gets the first out very quickly, and that's going to be his evening.
So Ned Yost has made the call. Vargas getting congratulations from his teammates. Another good outing for Jason Vargas. He's in line for his 17th win of the season. Peter Moylan comes out of the bullpen to face Pilar when we come back. Another good outing here tonight. 86 pitches over 6 in the third. He's allowed just 2 hits to the Blue Jays, no runs. He's walked 3 and struck out 7. And he's done a terrific job, and he is in line for his 17th win of the season.
Now it's up to the bullpen, and the first one out, Peter Moylan. Moylan has put together a great year. 74th game of the season. Doesn't have a record, but he's got a very good earned run average. He's a bridge guy, a setup guy to the back end of that bullpen. And you want to talk about perseverance. Pilar waves at that pitch. Moylan's going to be 39 in December. He's had 2 Tommy John surgeries on his right elbow, a torn rotator cuff, a torn labrum in his shoulder, and a procedure for a bulging disc in his back, and he wants to come back for next year. Says he loves it in Kansas City, wants to do it, and he's done a great job for him this season.
Yes, he has. He signed originally with the Minnesota Twins. There's a bouncing ball. Moustakas was in because of that bunt attempt. He makes an easy play, and Pilar is out. But Moylan, as we mentioned, signed originally by the Minnesota Twins, and the Twins had kind of a pipeline to Australia there for a while. They signed Peter Moylan. They signed Grant Balfour. They signed Liam Hendricks, all Aussies that came over and played in the minor leagues. But Moylan went back after a couple of seasons and went back to Australia and pitched, and that's going to be a short night for Peter Moylan. The Blue Jays had sent up a pinch hitter, Michael Saunders, and Yost will counter that move as Moylan gets Pilar to ground out the third. Brian Buchter in to face Michael Saunders. Good job by Moylan once again. And Saunders, is he going to hit? Nope. He's going to go back, and they're going to hit for him as well. career high in that category, and he's looking to the left-hander Ryan Buchter to get him out of this jam here in the 6th.
Buchter pitched in last night's game, finished off the 7th inning right where he was last night for Jake Junis. Got 2/3 of an inning after giving up a sacrifice fly. He hit a batter and then got a pop-up. So Buchter will face a pinch hitter for the pinch hitter.
Michael Saunders was announced into the game, and then when Ned Yost made the switch to the lefty, Rob Refsnyder comes on to hit here in the 7th. 2 outs. Refsnyder had a base hit in last night's game in his only plate appearance. Actually, he got a base hit in the 7th and struck out in the 8th. Saunders was announced into the game, and then they made the pitching change, and Refsnyder was sent up to hit for him. A ball and 2 strikes to Rob Refsnyder. Refsnyder as a pinch hitter with the Blue Jays, 0 for 6 this season. Bottom of the 7th inning, a 1-0 Kansas City lead. Little soft liner to second. Merrifield makes the play that ends the inning. We'll go to the 8th. Jason Vargas in line for the win as Kansas City has a 1-0 lead. As he finishes up on a real strong note this season. 108 pitches over 6 2/3. 1 run on 7 hits, 2 walks. That first walk to Alex Gordon came around to score the only run of the game, and Happ has now lowered his ERA to 3.64 for the season.
That's 5 consecutive starts now for Jay Happ where he's given up 3 earned runs or less. 4 of those 1 earned run. So what a night for him. Ryan Goins will come into the ball game after Rob Refsnyder pinched hit for Darwin Barney, and he will play second base. So pencil him in the 7th spot in the batting order.
So Lorenzo Cain will start things off for the Royals here in the 7th. Dominic Leone came and closed out the top of the 7th. Cain, Cabrera, and Hosmer here in the 8th for Kansas City. One and one to Cain. Leone making just his 4th career appearance against Kansas City. That's popped up in foul territory. Going to be out of play. Double barrel action for the Blue Jays. Brian Tepera and lefty Matt Dermody loosening up.
Dermody, I'm sure, is for Hosmer, who's a couple of batters away. First things first, got to get this leadoff hitter. Lorenzo King got some speed. Got to keep him off the bases.
Kane is 2 for 3 so far in this game. Breaking ball hit to the shortstop. Ureña's got a strong arm. Well, he really threw that quickly to first for the out. Drive of the game brought to you by the powerful all-new 2017 Civic Type R.
It's 1-0, so we thought we would show you how they scored their run. Base hit. Melky Cabrera, who else? He would single into left field. That would score Gordon. That's the only run that has been scored tonight by either team. That is tonight's driver of the game, as Melky Cabrera now has 82 RBIs.
3 for 3 against Jay Happ. He drove in the only run of the game. Leon gets ahead of Cabrera with the first pitch breaking ball. Melky's had a nice season. Look at his career, his season numbers. 17 homers and 82 RBIs. Cabrera's average now at 289 for the season.
Started with the White Sox and traded over here at the deadline.
Donaldson takes the bouncing ball and throws to first in time. So Hosmer is the scheduled batter. John Gibbons has already made the call to the bullpen. He's got the lefty Matt Dermody ready. Dominic Leone faces 3 batters and retires them all. Dermody in to face Hosmer with 2 outs. To stretch out on your flight. Find out more about the benefits of premium economy at westjet.com/plusfare. Now time for the schedule ahead, brought to you by WestJet. And this will wrap up the season series against the Royals. The Yankees are in town tomorrow night. Make a note, that Saturday game that starts at 4:07 p.m. Then the Yankees will finish up the home portion of the 2017 schedule. The Blue Jays will go to Boston, take on the Red Sox. They'll have an off day on Thursday and wrap up the season in the Bronx against the New York Yankees, the 29th and 30th of September and October 1st. Matt Dermody facing the Kansas City Royals for the first time.
Matt's got that ERA down to 4. Remember where it started? It started after his first appearance at 135. He's got it under 4 now, 2-0. 8 straight appearances where he hasn't given up a run. Last time out against Minnesota on the 17th, that was 4 days ago. He threw 2 innings, gave up 2 measly hits. His slider has been so much better lately.
Well, I tell you what, he has really changed his fortunes the way he's pitched since he's come back up from AAA. Blue Jays are looking for another left-hander out of that bullpen, and he has really impressed. Eric Hosmer chased that first slider. Another slider, a little dribbler. And that hit Hosmer, and he is out. He was up the first baseline running in fair territory. And he is called out. That'll be an out and an assist for the catcher. It'll be 2 unassisted for the catcher as Hosmer hits this little bouncing ball, and it hits him in fair territory. He is out. That ends the inning. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio. Kansas City here in the bottom of the 8th is Joaquin Soria making his 55th appearance of the season.
First in this series, he ranks 4th in club history with 422 appearances. That's 7 shy of Paul Splitor for 3rd. He's got 162 career saves. He's the setup man now for the Kansas City Royals, putting together a pretty decent season himself.
Paulo Orlando, the defensive specialist, takes over in right field for Melky Cabrera. It's a 1-0 game. Luke Maile was the scheduled batter. He will be pinch hit for by Ezequiel Carrera. So Carrera comes off the bench to bat for Maile. Carrera is 6 for 12 this season as a pinch hitter, and he has a pinch hit home run.
Zeke got the start in yesterday's ball game. Be aggressive early. Soria throws a lot of strikes, a lot of fastballs, and he got a little bit of a cutter working.
Soria is the 3rd reliever to work for Kansas City. Moylan got it out, Buchter got it out, and now Soria starts the 8th. Carrera shows bunt, pulls the bat back. It's a ball and a strike. Soria began his career with the Royals. Spent the first 5 seasons of his career as the closer for Kansas City. Then he was out the entire 2012 season and re-signed with the Texas Rangers. Spent parts of 2 seasons with the Rangers. There's that big curveball. Then he went from Texas to Detroit, from Detroit to Pittsburgh, and here he is back in Kansas City, his 2nd season back with the Royals. He's no longer in that closer's role. They used him as a setup man most often.
He is 5th among active pitchers in earned run average for relievers at just 286. He's pitched at the back end of games for a long time. Been around a long time. Doesn't throw as hard as he did when he first came up. I mean, he was up at 90s when he first came up. Now he relies more on changing speeds and hitting his spots.
Soria is ahead 1-2 to Carrera, the pinch hitter. They wanted it outside, and they're lucky they got the foul ball. They missed their spot there.
Looked like he was going to try and backdoor a cutter.
Rafi Lopez down at the bat rack. Lopez hit a home run last night in the 9th inning. Off speed pitch as Carrera strikes out, 1 away.
Soria splits that ball. You can see that ball as it was coming towards home. He had split it between his index finger and his middle finger. Just took a little something off of it. And had Carrera out in front. 1 down.
Richard Urena is 0 for 2. He has ground out and hit into a fielder's choice. That cutter looked like it was a pretty good pitch, but Perez caught it very awkwardly. Made it look a lot worse than it was. A ball on the strike now.
That's just 89 miles an hour. He was 94, 95, 96 when he was younger. But you can't beat experience.
Like another splitter. He split that grip on the baseball and got a lot of velocity off that pitch. Soria is from Mexico. He's now 33 years old. He turned 33 in May.
Quick pitch.
Urena strikes out on that breaking ball. Chivas is checking with Jamie Campbell. Mauer's had a tremendous second half to his season. He's 3 for 3. His average up to .311. Jorge Polanco has 3 hits in that game as well, as the Twins have that comfortable lead. Rafi Lopez pinch hitting for Teoscar Hernandez. We mentioned Lopez hit a home run last night. His 4th home run of the season. It's interesting because Lopez has just 46 at bats. 4 home runs.
He represents the tying run, and the outfield is not very deep for him. Not respecting those 4 home runs. Lorenzo Cain is shallow in center field. Alex Gordon, the left fielder, a little bit more shallow than you would think with the tying run at the plate in the 8th inning.
Get that home run off Kelvin Herrera, and he hit it to deep center field and got a good fastball and ripped it over the wall in center. Rafi hit 16 home runs in the minor leagues this year. So for the season, he's hit 20. Tepera and Osuna loosening up. Tepera was up earlier. Now Roberto Osuna has joined him. There's that splitter again, and it's a good pitch. Lopez grounds out to the pitcher. That ends the inning. Good inning for Soria. He protects that 1-0 lead. He'll go to the 9th. Ryan Tepera. hand look at the Cleveland Indians. They'll be in action tomorrow night after our game. It's 10 Eastern time, 7 Pacific time on Sportsnet 1. The Indians are in Seattle to take on the Mariners. Interesting pitching matchup. Trevor Bauer goes for his 17th win. He's 16-9 against Erasmo Ramirez, who's making the start. He's 5-6. Cleveland won today. They have 96 wins, and they are trying to catch the Dodgers for the best record in baseball for home field advantage throughout the postseason. Right. They're a game behind currently. The Dodgers won, so they have 97 wins. Ryan Tepera for the 70th time this season.
What a season Ryan has put together. Throw up a 0 right here. See if you can win it in the bottom of the 9th inning. He's got 7 wins this season to go along with that .350 earned run average. He worked in this first series here and gave up that home run. Rafi Lopez stays in the game to catch, and in the outfield, Ezekiel Carrera will stay and take over in left field. But Tepera gave up that home run to Alex Gordon that ended up being that milestone home run.
That was here on the opening night on Tuesday. Tepera gets Perez to chase that first pitch. It'll be Perez, Moustakas, and Bonifacio for Kansas City.
That milestone home run, of course, broke the record for the most home runs hit in baseball in one season. 2000 was the last time that record was set. Over 5,000 home runs have been hit this season.
The Blue Jays are 25-25 in one-run games, and this is another one-run game, 1-0 Kansas City. Inside, 2 balls and a strike to the Royals catcher. The Blue Jays bullpen looks to be in pretty good shape, anchored by Osuna, the 22-year-old closer. Tepera has taken over the 8th inning. Danny Barnes and Dominic Leone have done a terrific job as a 7th inning pitchers. They got the left-handers coming on. Loops here. Dermody's done a nice job.
Tom Kohler's done a terrific job, and he could be a pretty important part of this bullpen going forward.
Two-2 pitch. Fastball ripped up the middle. A leadoff single for Perez. He's 2 for 4.
His first hit came right back through the middle. He then grounded into a double play and then did this. He tried to slip a fastball by him on the outside part of the plate, and Sal has got a multi-hit game.
Now, Kansas City has bounced into a pair of double plays tonight. Mike Moustakas hit into a double play in the 4th. He goes after the first pitch and fouls it off. Moustakas 1 for 3. In this series, Moustakas is 5 for 10. Take strike 2.
Tepera's batting average against .203. Pretty impressive. That's what you want to have to go along with 77 strikeouts coming out of that bullpen, averaging a strikeout an inning. He's got a good fastball and a hard slider that has really come into play this season.
Well, I think one thing you want out of your bullpen, especially guys that are pitching 7th, 8th, and 9th, you want strikeouts. You want them to retire batters without the hitters putting the ball in play.
And you don't want walks. Ryan has really corralled the walks, I think, this year. Came into this game with 74 2/3 innings. He's had 31 base on balls all season long. I think he's just understanding who he is now and feeling confident in himself at the big league level. He was a starter down in the minor leagues. He's always had a great arm, and he was really transitioned really well into the bullpen.
Mustak is battling. He's in the hole 0-2. Good pitch down and away. Great movement on that fastball. Tepera strikes out Mustak, his first out of the top half of the ninth.
Don't see too many of those. That looked like a two-seamer. Watch the rotation. Yeah, that is a two-seamer. He got the two fingers on the seams, and look at the ball go down. If he doesn't swing and miss that, that's a ground ball. Possibly another double play, but a nice pitch from Tepera to get the first out.
Bonifacio, the DH, has gone 0 for 3. He struck out against Happ a couple of times tonight. Leon, Dermody, and now Ryan Tepera out of the Blue Jays bullpen tonight. There's another good sinking fastball.
Yeah, little two-seamer. You're a good. You can get good results when you can make the ball go in on right-handers or go away from right-handers if you're a right-handed pitcher like Tepera is. So you can go glove side or you can go arm side.
'96. Tepera, like Leon earlier, has made new career highs in many categories as he has pitched very well and earned the right to pitch these big innings late in the game. He's got good movement tonight. And the velocity is still up there in the mid-90s.
And it's free and easy, and that ball is right on that hitter. He's thrown a couple of fastballs in now. Slider away. Maybe he gets them.
He gets that slider away. Popped it up. Smoke. The first baseman calls for it. Bonifacio's 0 for 4. 2 outs here in the ninth.
That's just pitching right there. You got a guy in Bonifacio's hit 16 home runs this year, but he just kept running that fastball down and in or in and then slider away. Does the trick.
The shortstop Alcides Escobar 0 for 3. Perez with the leadoff single. He's still at first. Mike Minor, lefty, loosening up. Soria is in the ball game, and he retired to side in order in the 8th. Donaldson, Smoke, and Bautista, the scheduled batters in the bottom of the 9th. Pop up behind second. Goins going out, and oh, what a nice play. Ryan Goins did a good job. He came in defensively, taking over his second. He goes into the outfield and makes an over-the-shoulder catch off the bat of Alcides Escobar to end the inning. Twisting around, he's got great hands, stays with it to end the top half of the ninth.
presented by the all-new Honda Versatach. Meet our ultimate yard work companion with up to 7 interchangeable attachments.
1-0. We go to the bottom of the ninth. The Blue Jays with just 2 hits in this ball game, and they're going to face a new pitcher into the game to work the bottom of the ninth. It's the lefty Mike Minor.
The Kansas City Royals have had saves from 5 different pitchers this year. Herrera was their closer at the beginning of this season. Mauer has closed some games for him. Soria, Alexander, now Mike Minor is 1 for 4 in saves this season. He's also 6-6. His record.
Interesting move to bring him in to face Donaldson. Donaldson is 0 for 2. He walked, struck out, and grounded him. He gets jammed and hits a pop-up. Merrifield makes the catch, 1 away. Now for a preview of what's coming next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Carly Agro and Ken Reed. Very good. Thank you very much, Ken. It's all coming up right after this game. Here's Justin Smoke facing the lefty, Mike Minor. Minor picked up the save last Friday in Cleveland against the Indians, and that was a Jason Vargas game as well. He struck out the side in the 9th inning. He struck out Yan Gomes, young catcher Mejia, and struck out Lindor to end the ballgame.
He was a starter for most of his career until this year. He's had 60 games, no starts. He's had 110 starts in his career.
Curveball for strike 3. Smoke caught looking at that curveball, and Minor makes quick work of the first 2 batters here in the 9th.
Right fielder number 19, Jose Bautista.
Bautista hits it in the air. Moustakas makes the catch, and Mike Minor picks up his 2nd save of the season in this 1-0 ball game. Jason